little grumpy or, a little depressed, maybe even a little, ticked off at the world, you just kind of wake up that way. And then, the day starts to go on and little things start to nag on you or whatever, it seems like you hit every red light on the way to work. We all have those kind of days. And then there's the opposite. We wake up and we're like, hey, I don't even know why, but I'm in a good mood. Things are going to be great today. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to do this and that and the other. I'm looking forward to this. It seems like you hit all the green lights on the way to work. It's like, hey, this is my lucky day. My name is Robert Poulin, and today I'm going to show you how you can actually have those good days on demand and make sure you don't have the bad days. And you can literally have good days at work, good productive days every day of the week, instead of losing those days because of the mood you're in. Years ago, I would say most of my life probably I would be controlled by emotions. Basically it was kind of random. Like I said, I'd wake up, depending on the mood I'm in, that would generally dictate the rest of my day. I would start, and if I was in a good mood, hey, great, I'd be very productive that day, do a lot, have a great day, enjoy life, And then the other days I'd wake up, and who knows if it was something to do with what I ate last night, or stomach, or just, how my brain slept, whatever. Just be, ticked off at the world or kind of depressed. You're like, oh, I just want this day to be over, type of feeling. And I struggled with that for a very long time. But something happened, back in, I think it was probably around 2017 or something. So it's been about 6 years as of this video. And it fundamentally changed my life and changed my productivity in my business, and just absolutely changed the enjoyment I had from day to day in business and in life. So I want to share that to you with you today and show you how that changed. I found when I was going through all that most of my life, I had a lot of quote lost days where, because I was in that bad mood, I didn't call the client I was supposed to, I didn't, maybe I treated my team members, poorly or whatever. They knew I was grumpy. All those things that happen when we treat people poorly, even though, there's no real reason to, just because we're grumpy, and I tried all kinds of things. I tried, optimizing my time, scheduling and doing all this to take stress out of my life, so to speak. Positive thinking, little incantations, hey, I'm going to have a great day today, whatever. And none of it really worked. But, it goes a little bit back to that idea, that, hey, I'm depressed today, whatever. It's like, well, snap out of it and, be positive. It's like, well, that's the problem. I'm depressed. I don't want to be positive. Like I said, something fundamentally changed back in 2017. And, I was, at that time, my business partner, I had a business partner, a great business partner for many, many years. And unfortunately, he passed away very suddenly with a heart issue. And I was left with the company. So I was doing a lot of soul searching, starting to get more into personal development, and always been a big Tony Robbins follower and fan of his work. And, so I remember I was listening to this Tony Robbins tape, that's kind of dating me, but program, whatever you want to call it. I don't remember which one it was, but he talked about this idea that he had a morning routine where he would get up, and he suggests, you get up immediately, jump right in your shoes, get out of the house and do some kind of aerobic exercise, walking, running, whatever, something outdoors. And so you would start this, and then you would start this, idea of, you would start with, start saying to yourself out loud, preferably, start saying, I'm thankful for this, thank you for this, thank you for this, just this grateful exercise or whatever. And then we kind of move into, you're supposed to visualize your goals and think about that. This is all while you're exercising, because one of his big things is getting your physiology matching your emotions and all that stuff. So you would start visualizing your goals, and then finally you kind of end with doing incantations, which are kind of out loud, things that are forceful, phrases. I'm going to have a great day today. I am, a superstar, salesperson. I am brilliant at figuring out tech stuff. Whatever, say them over and over again with enthusiasm out loud. And all that helped. I tried to do that for a while, and it really did help. And what I found over time, though, And, Tony talks about, how you should do this stuff out loud. I would walk around my neighborhood because I'm so out of shape. I would just do walking, fast walk or whatever. And, it's, 4:30 in the morning, but I felt really so self-conscious about saying stuff out loud, I'm the man, whatever, walking around my neighborhood waiting for somebody to hear me, even though at that time it's probably unlikely. But so I started doing that, and eventually what I found is I was kind of doing the gratefulness part, and I wasn't quite getting to the visualization thing, even though I know visualization works and I know incantations work. I just kind of couldn't get myself to do that consistently. And then I was kind of use the excuse I have a hard time getting out of bed to exercise. I'm not one of those people who likes to exercise early in the morning. You probably should, but I don't. For whatever reason, my body seems to enjoy exercising later on, like late afternoon or whatever. That's my time to go to the gym or whatever. So I figured, well, I got to come up with this is kind of working. But so I kind of modified his routine a little bit. And at the time, I had about a 15-minute drive to work. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to try at least the first part of his exercise. And so I tried working on the gratefulness part. And, so I would start this drive to work, and, I'm in my car, just like you can sing and rock out in your car, whatever, and nobody cares other than the drivers going by kind of giggling because they see you, lip syncing, whatever. They can't hear you. But so I would get in my car, and then I would start out and start going through the gratefulness routine. It'd be something like, well, first of all, I'm a believer in God and Jesus of Nazareth. So for me, I kind of turn this into a prayer, but you can pray to the universe or thank you, whatever works for you, it doesn't matter. But I would say something like, thank you, God, for this incredible life you've given me. Thank you for my beautiful wife, who's such an angel in my life, and thank you for bringing her in. These beautiful children you've given me, how precious they are. Thank you for getting me out of bed this morning. And thank you for my legs that work, that I didn't have to tell my eyelids to open. They just automatically woke up. Thank you for this car that I'm driving. That I have enough gas to get to work. That I have air conditioning in this hot Phoenix weather. Thank you for all the wonderful people that I work with. So you get where I'm going here. So I would just start listing random stuff, that all the things in my life. And if we think about it, it is actually not that hard to think about all the stuff that we take for granted every day. And it sounds, kind of funny, sounds Pollyanna, but, you literally, I would start and kind of start with little things and just keep going. And, after 2 or 3 minutes, and you're doing this out loud, of course, you start to literally feel a change in your physiology, change in how you physically feel. And I would work myself into a frenzy, and, 10, 12 minutes later, I'd be like in the just boom, I'm ready to go. But by the time I got to work, I'd be bursting through the doors, ready to go, take on the world, in that really positive, productive, effective kind of attitude and that mood. And I mean, let's face it, when we're in a great mood and things are clicking and, we've got energy to call that client or to, make, talk to that employee or whatever, or do all those things that we need to do. When we're in a productive, positive, great mood, those are easy to do. When we're depressed, ticked off at the world, we just don't feel it that day. What do? We're like, oh, call that client tomorrow. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to talk to this employee today. Hey, get off me. Don't bother me today. I mean, it really affects our effectiveness. And so, what does that do? That costs us money. So, how much more money can we make by having an effective day versus having one of those lost days? And so I would burst in the office and feeling great, and I'd have a really effective day. And, of course, what happens sometimes, as we know, even if you get to the office or wherever you're going, even if you're working from home these days, get to your desk doing your thing, you may automatically just wake up and you're feeling good. You don't have to go through this routine, and, you're like, oh, okay. And then you read that first email. Somebody's ticked because of X, Y, Z. You get a voicemail. A team member comes up and says, oh, yeah, what about this? And somebody doesn't show up for work. And any number of things that, one thing after another starts to go wrong, so to speak. One fire after another comes along. And after a while, this stuff gets to you. It kind of woo, kind of puts a pin in that balloon of that high that you developed. And so what do? You can on demand get that feeling back. So when you feel yourself getting to that point, you're like, oh my gosh, you have to consciously stop and say, okay, I'm going to move over here. Go get in the closet. If you have a private office, great, close the door. If you don't, go out to your car, and sit there and go through the same exact exercise for 2 or 3 minutes out loud. That's very important to do it out loud. And just start with, again, hey, thank you. And it's the same stuff. It doesn't matter. Thank you, God, for this incredible life you've given me. Thank you that I was able to wake up this morning and that my legs work and that my arms work. Start doing that again. And it doesn't matter if it's the same stuff over and over again, as long as you're starting to feel it as genuine. And we can all come up with stuff if we're genuine. So we can keep ourselves from going off the rails by stopping. As soon as we notice things are going sideways, we can stop and fix it. And that way we have a consistent, positive, great day that we can have all day long. One of the things that I started doing a few years ago, after that I had a Tony Robbins coach for a while, and she was fantastic, a business coach. And we talked about this whole concept and what I was doing. And she said, hey, what you need to do is to help your brain get used to the whole idea. She said, use a stopwatch, set the stopwatch for, every hour or something, or every 2 hours. And when that bad boy goes off, jump up, go do your routine in your closet or your office or whatever. So it kind of gets your brain, gets that renewed energy at that interval, whatever, and you can kind of experiment with that. And what happens is the first few days, it's like, feels really weird and it's like a pain, but it's like anything. Once you start getting in the habit, after a few days, your brain kind of has a tendency to wake up during those intervals and start to do this automatically. And you can on demand put yourself into that good state, that state where you're effective, that state where you're a good person to be around with, that state where you actually get things done and you're much more confident at it. You're writing, a new sales letter or something. All of a sudden, the ideas start flowing. And you know what that's like. You know the difference between when you're in a bad mood and when you're in a good mood and how effective you are on either one of them. So it's kind of a no-brainer. So I started doing this, and, I can't tell you what a difference this has made in my life. It's when you first start doing it, like anything, it feels weird. But if you force yourself to do it, it works every time. You're going to have mornings where you wake up and who knows why. Sure, there's some chemical reason, or you dreamed something weird or whatever. You wake up and you're depressed, you're ticked off, you're whatever, some kind of negative emotional state. And you get in the car, or whatever, for example, and you're like, oh gosh, geez, I gotta, and what I would find is that if I started doing this stuff, even though I didn't want to, I'd be like, oh, well, thank you, God, for, giving me a great life, thank you for, my amazing wife, and thank you for my beautiful children, and thank you for, that I have this car that's got air conditioning. And, you find is even if you force yourself to do it when you're in a bad mood, you can't help it. But within a couple of minutes, you're starting to feel the change in your body. So your brain doesn't even have a choice. I remember one of the things Tony said a long time ago, I have no idea where I read this, maybe it was one of his books, but basically he said, you can't be depressed or you can't be angry at the same time you're grateful. And it's true. So if you train yourself in gratefulness, however you do it, it makes it impossible for you not to be in an effective, good mood that's going to make you a lot of money versus those lost days and that bad attitude, which is going to cost you money. So I really encourage you to take this on in your life. I guarantee it'll make a huge difference in your day-to-day effectiveness, how you feel. And hey, let's face it, you want to enjoy going to work. You want to enjoy your days. So why not do it on demand? It takes a little effort getting started, like any habit, but if you force yourself to do it for a few days, I guarantee it will work for you. So do this. It's one of the biggest changes I've had in my business in the last few years, and I guarantee it will for you too. So appreciate your time, and I'll talk to you soon.